Hello, my role-playing peeps. This is +4 Initiative Bonus one more time, here to give you another update on my Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 game. This time around, as you can tell by the title of this video, that something very bad happened during last game. It was bad, but it was also cool all in the same time, as if that makes sense. So this is going to be a relatively short video, mainly because this last game was a little more of a setup video, setup game for the next adventure than anything else. Okay, so essentially, now if you remember, we from last couple of videos, we actually finished the adventure. We had actually went to the Sunken Temple, fixed the issue, cleansed the forest of death and destruction, and moved on. Now we pick up the game at the base camp just outside what was the evil forest. So basically, we had finished up divvying out some treasure, things of that nature. Basically, proceeding on, we were backtracking and going back to the barbarian village that we were at originally, not the starting town, but the barbarian village where Fred the Red actually had a quote-unquote match, a rematch, if you will, basically a fight to be able to see how far along he has actually progressed. I can't say that. Progressed. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, we're moving along. First couple of days is not really anything bad, but last day, we actually right before we actually got to the barbarian camp, we actually get a random encounter, and then in this random encounter, we fight a Hellcat. And if you know anything about 3.5, and it was just at dusk, so we could actually see the thing, which was a good thing, because she done 3 rolls, one in the morning, one in the midday, and one at night. And we just happened to do this. This would have sucked a lot if it would have been in the middle of the day, because it would have been in the middle of the day. You can't see Hellcats in bright light. So a good thing that we were actually fighting this thing near dusk. Now, essentially what a Hellcat's a devil. And it shows up wanting to take Merrick. Merrick is the little enchanted magical skull that talks to us that we found. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we found. And it was after it. So our ranger casts Speak to Animals and tries to actually speak to it. Well, that don't really work, but the Hellcat can communicate telepathically. So basically, he tells him that he wants the skull. And we're like, no, you can't have the skull, because, well, first we ask, like, why do you want the skull? It says it wants to eat the skull. So we flip out and we attack it. Well, a Hellcat is pretty strong. It nearly kills Fred. We managed to kill it, though. Just a damage reduction 5 absolutely killed us during this fight. Well, we are only level 4, and I mean, a Hellcat's a challenge rating 7, but there was like 6 of us, so we were all pounding on it, and we eventually, it only has like 60 health, but that 5 damage reduction is a massive thing, and we did wind up killing it. We also find that there was a demon. It forgets me now what kind of demon it was, but it was a temptress of some kind. Basically, she makes a deal. She's after a circlet that she loaned to Merrick, and apparently this Hellcat was sent after us to kill us and take Merrick so she could go get her circlet. And now Merrick's wizard tower, which is like 200 miles away, she gives us a month to go and get. Now, mind you, we're like, she makes a deal with us, basically. Well, we refuse the deal, and she leaves. Later that night, she shows up, and our ranger, who was taking last watch, talks to her again, and agrees to the deal. Doesn't tell anybody, which was great. Oh my God, it was so awesome. It was pretty cool. I liked it, but he agrees to the contract. Basically, we got a month to be able to go and get her circlet from this wizard tower. So, progressing on, we get to the actual barbarian tribe, and everybody's so happy because we're the conquering champions and whatnot. Now, where Milo had started taking levels in Binder, the god guy Milo actually bound, my DM decided to actually give me, well, this is what the vestige gives you when you take on his aspects. One, I become like beefy halfling. I get all kind of muscular. It doesn't increase my strength or anything like this. I just look muscular. I gain the ability to cast Bull Strength 3 times a day, but only at the +4 strength, not the +6. And I gain the ability to enlarge. I can cast Enlarge Person on myself once a day. So basically, I can go from a small size to a medium size. Which I lose my. Basically, what happens is I basically lose my +1 to armor class, which I can see it being useful in certain situations. So we are having a big party and everybody's getting ready. Well, here's where the one binding check. Now, I had released the vestige and hadn't chose to take him on anymore, or any other ones anymore, until Milo wants to go and show off. Now, this is what happens. As soon as I want to show off as my character, I go off by myself. I draw the binding circle, and I summon him, and I bind him, and I roll a 1. So, I botch this roll completely. Beyond belief, I botched this roll. So, basically what my DMs decide, well, what do you want to go and do? Now, everybody's partying and things like that. Now, if you remember, there was another bard here that Milo went up actually stealing something from last. You can go back to past videos and actually find out what that was. But this guy's name is Humble. He is a horrible bard. Okay, Milo shows up and he's already casted Enlarge Person on himself, so he's medium size. Oh no, he hadn't done that yet. Essentially, he walks by this guy and he's playing his lute horribly. Milo grabs the lute and just bashes it. And when he bashes it, Humble punches Milo. He punches him. Milo falls to the ground, and as he's getting up, casts Enlarge Person on himself. So he's standing eye to eye with this guy. And Milo's like, that's it. I've had enough of this. I'm going to teach you what being a bard really is. So he casts Bull Strength on himself, which only gives me a 14 strength. And they start duking it out, start fighting. Well, this erupts into like a tribe-wide like brawl. But it's not like a combat, like, I'm going to kill you. Well, Milo wanted to kill this dude. He just kept punching. He got him on the ground, just punching his face in. And if it wasn't for the axe of the cleric grabbing him and pulling him off, Milo would have killed this guy. Because what happened was this thing that he took on was the aspect of tyranny, of combat, of not valor, but this combat, wanting to hurt someone, and that's what he done. He hurt this guy. He put this dude in the hospital, basically. Well, the next day, he goes to watch Fred actually compete in this little event. There's a warm-up event, and then there's the actual event. The warm-up event, Milo fights this dude to the first blood. Basically, what it was is they would hit each other, and the GM would roll a percentage to see if it would like blood his nose or bust his lip or something like that. So, luckily, this little halfling punches him twice and does not break blood. Milo finally hits the dude, boom, and actually makes the roll and bloodies his nose. Yay, first blood. Now, the second fight was the main fight, which is in full gear, full weapons. Fred has Drow Smasher, which is his big giant hammer, a big giant maul, and they start fighting each other. And now, mind you, this dude's level 20. This dude is not going all out. He only attacks once every round instead of his 4 that he normally. He could have easily ended this fight in the first round, but he wants to test Fred. so he only attacks once every round. All he's doing is rolling and make sure he doesn't get a 1, because he's going to hit him every single time. Actually, he could have rolled the first 3 attacks, and all he had to do was just roll to not get a 1, and he would have still hit Fred. So the only one where he had run a chance of actually missing is the 4th attack, which I seen the sheet was only a +10. So anyway, they fight. They go for 5 rounds. And the only reason why they go for 5 rounds is because the first attack, the guy does not do much damage. He rolls low. So, but he does. Fred Red does wind up getting 2 critical hits on this guy, dealing a pretty good chunk of damage. Because Drow Smasher is a ×3 weapon when critical hits happen. So he took a big portion of his health, but this fight could have ended easily in 1 round. 1, maybe 2 rounds. But they chose, he's trying to test him to see how he's doing. So, proceeding on. We gather our stuff, and we head back to town. Well, actually, physically, the town that we started at originally. So, we get there, and it's nearing the end of the night. Like I said, this night was pretty short. We actually go to spend our money. We offload all of our treasure, and Milo went up with about 8,000 or so gold, and we were going shopping. And at the beginning of the next game, we're actually going to pick up there, and we're actually going to be heading up north to where this wizard tower is, to be able to get the circlet and claim all kinds of fancy schmancy treasure, I'm hoping. So that's basically what happened. Like, it was real short, it wasn't real long, it was only 1 combat, even though it did kick Fred the Red's face in. I think it almost killed him, got him down to like 10 or 15 health, so it almost killed him. Anyway, I'm going to leave it right there, and just remember to like and subscribe, and hit the little dingy button down in the corner so you know when I post a video. And I'm going to leave it right there, so I'm going to leave you with this. Just letting you know that I am a GM, but I'm also a player, and I'm here for you.